right, Gabe, I just wanted to say thanks a lot for hosting us, teaching us about what you got going on in your ranch, your operation, and just wanted to see if you could share a little bit about kind of some of the biggest steps, things that have stood out to you as you've gone down this journey of soil health and regenerative ag. If you could share a couple things with us, maybe.
Well, thanks, Lance. It was a pleasure having you here today. I really enjoyed visiting with you and showing you around the ranch. So, some of the take-homes, I think, I often look back and, boy, if I would have only known then what I know now.
Sure.
And the number one take-home is grow something. Just simply have a living plant in the soil as long as possible throughout the year.
Sure.
The other take-home would be diversity.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the things that's really lacking on our farms and ranches today. And from a number of different reasons. One, obviously, is there's not much diversity in crop rotation anymore. Most farmers out there are growing 2 species, some are 3 or 4,
Yep.
but we need many more than that. That gives not only diversity for soil life, but diversity for income too. And we're putting all our eggs in one basket, and that's not a good thing.
Sure.
So those are 2 of the biggest takeaways. If I could go back in time and do things over, I would have gone down the diversity path more, and I would have made sure to always have living plants in the soil.
Awesome. That makes sense.
Gabe, can you give somebody just starting out a piece of advice for the soil health adventure?
Yeah. So the first advice I would give is reach down your pants and find out if you have a pair. And by that I mean you have to have the fortitude to stick with something. Too many people are not willing to do what it takes. They find it way too easy to jump on and off the bandwagon, so to speak. So what we tell our clients is, okay, I'm going to dedicate this field or this paddock if they're grazing for 5 years. Now, what size that'll be will be totally dependent on what will allow you to sleep at night. Some people say, oh, I can do this 5 acres, but I want to do it over the hill where none of the neighbors will see. That's fine. And then I had one client who the first year he planted 8,000 acres of cover crops.
Wow.
Okay, because he was just all in. He could, that didn't bother him to do it. But do what works in your situation. Put it in context. But no matter what, stick to it 5 years. And so many people think that, oh, there's going to be this loss of production and I'm going to lose money. All the clients we worked with, we have not had a single one that we have not increased profitability the first year. The regenerative path, because of the options it allows you, because of the knowledge and understanding, and that's really what regenerative ag is about. It's about understanding. Once we get people to understand, this is how soils function, this is how the nutrient cycle works, this is how the water cycle works, this all becomes relatively easy. So just stick with it. Stick to a plan that you're going to take this parcel and stick with it 5 years. 9 times out of 10, what happens? By year 3, they're all in and the whole farm is going down the regenerative path. We have yet to have anybody go all 5 years and then go back to the way they were farming. That just doesn't happen.
Amen. Can you tell us a little bit about the power of networking? I know you started this journey back in the late 90s and it's been incredible, but for those of us that are just getting into it, what's the power of it? What do you see it as?
Yeah. David Brandt and I were just together a few weeks ago and we were talking about, David's been no-till since 72, cover crops since 79. I started no-tilling in 94, cover crops immediately then. And we talked about those early years, how we had nobody. Yep. I read about David Brandt in an occasional magazine or newspaper, but back then when I started, there wasn't even the internet, for crying out loud. I was going to the library. What can you read there? And the way it is now, I mean, everything's real time.
Yep.
And to have people to bounce ideas off of, David and I talk about what we would have done. And I was fortunate enough that shortly thereafter, I met Jay Fear and got on the Soil Conservation District Board of Supervisors. That was my network starting out. And several of us learned together, and I give credit for that. Yeah. And I tell people now, I really don't spend a lot of time visiting with my neighbors because you can only talk about the weather so much. They're going to be bored of me talking soil health, and I sure don't want to talk chemicals and fertilizer with them. So my network is much broader now. I can call people in all 50 states and we can talk soil health.
Sure.
That's my friends and my alliances now. And the thing of it is that one of the real positives I see about regenerative agriculture is everyone is willing to share.
Yeah.
There's nobody involved that I'm aware of in regenerative agriculture who won't open up their farm or ranch or show you pictures on their iPhone. And you know, we're all in this together, and we realize that it's for the benefit of all, and we all can learn and take lessons. And I tell people, Gabe Brown really isn't very smart. I'm just very good at stealing ideas from everybody else. As you know, I've been picking your brains all
Yes,
day. I appreciate that.
That's right. That's right. Any other questions or thoughts?
I guess I too want to just thank you for our day on the ranch, and it was really neat. We were all looking forward to it. It was, I think, a big success. If you don't mind, can you just take a minute and explain what we're standing in?
Yeah.
If that's okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is year in and year out our most profitable cash crop. We've been growing this combination since 1994. This is cereal rye, winter triticale, and hairy vetch, all fall biennials planted in the fall. And since 2008 through 2018, our average net profit per acre on this crop is $951 per acre. I have a saying, people laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. Okay? Not many people will grow this crop. Hence one of the reasons I can make the money on it I do. But to us, this is one of our what we call slam dunk no-brainers. We're going to plant some of this every year because it gives us a lot of options. We can plant it in the fall. We can graze it a little bit in the fall if we want. Normally I don't graze it much in the fall. We graze it more in the spring. We like to calve out on it. It makes wonderful calving ground. If we're in a situation we need forage, certainly you can get a lot of forage off this. Or we can roll it down and plant a cash crop into it. In this particular case, this field is going to be a cash crop. As you can see, it looks pretty decent. This field has had no fertility of any kind, whether it be synthetics or compost tea, manures, besides what fell out of the animal since 2007. It has not had a herbicide on it in 7 years. And as you can see, it looks fairly clean. I think it's going to be a real productive, profitable cash crop for us.
Yeah,
Thank you, Gabe.
it looks awesome. Yeah, I just want to say thanks for the day. I feel really blessed to get to know you personally, and thanks for the tour. So I appreciate it.
Anytime.
I really do appreciate it.
Now
Thank you, Gabe.
you're all welcome back, and you're welcome to call and email me anytime. And I will answer your calls and emails.
You do?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
I try hard to. Yeah. Oh, my pleasure.